Have you ever found that the more you chase something, the further it seems to slip away? It's a strange paradox, isn't it? In life, the things we desire most often seem to elude us the harder we grasp. But what if I told you that the key to getting what you truly want lies not in holding on tightly, but in letting go? It sounds counterintuitive, but this idea is deeply rooted in both Stoicism and the law of attraction. In today's video, we'll explore how releasing your attachment to the outcome can actually help you attract the very things you seek. I too once doubted this principle. It seemed impossible that letting go could bring me closer to my goals. But when I applied this wisdom, I began to see profound changes in my life. By the end of this video, I'll share with you proven techniques grounded in both ancient Stoic philosophy and modern science that will help you manifest your dreams in ways you never thought possible. Before we dive in, if you find value in this journey of wisdom, make sure to subscribe to stoicriseup and click the bell icon so you never miss a new video. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to like and comment below. Let's begin. Have you ever heard the saying, "Your thoughts create your reality"? It's not merely a catchy phrase to hang on the wall. In fact, both ancient wisdom and modern science are beginning to align on this powerful truth. The Stoics particularly believe deeply in the influence of our mindset on the outcomes of our lives. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Science is catching up with what these ancient sages understood centuries ago. Our thoughts and emotions carry real power in shaping our experiences and ultimately our lives. For example, research from the University of California found that people with an optimistic outlook are 76% more likely to achieve high levels of well-being. Is this mere coincidence? Hardly. It's as though our minds are like magnets, drawing in experiences that match our inner state. However, let's be clear. It's not simply about thinking positive all day, imagining endless rainbows and easy success. The Stoics would remind us that discipline and intention are crucial. This brings us to the idea of the point of attraction. Imagine your mind as a radio station. The emotions you project are the frequency, and the universe, or the world around you, responds by matching that frequency. If you're tuned into a frequency of strength and capability, you'll start attracting situations that align with those feelings. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This Stoic principle perfectly aligns with the concept of tuning your mind to a higher frequency. It's not about controlling the external world, but about controlling the internal one. Your thoughts, emotions, and responses. The universe, or perhaps your perception of it, adjusts to this internal state. Let me share a personal story. Every month, I write my goals for this channel on a whiteboard. And without fail, the months when I take the time to do this, I hit those targets. The months when I neglect this practice, let's just say those goals don't magically get accomplished. Is this coincidence? I don't think so. When you clearly set your intentions, your mind aligns with those goals and starts to work toward them, often in ways you might not even consciously realize. I challenge you to try this for yourself. Take a moment to write down one goal you wish to achieve in the next 6 months or a year. Place it somewhere visible, where you'll see it every day. It may seem simple, but the Stoics would agree that simplicity often holds the greatest power. Seneca reminds us, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." By writing your goal down, you're preparing your mind and, in a sense, inviting luck to find you. But don't mistake this for magic. Neuroscience backs this up as well. When we focus intently on something, we activate the reticular activating system, RAS, in our brain. This system works like a filter, helping us notice opportunities and details we might have previously ignored. It's as if we're programming our brain to say, "This is important to me," and suddenly we begin spotting connections, possibilities, and resources that support our goal. In the end, the power of your thoughts is not just an abstract concept, it's a tool, one grounded in both Stoic philosophy and modern science. When you combine focused intention with disciplined action, the world around you begins to shift. So, are you ready to shape your reality? Dr. Joe Dispenza, a renowned neuroscientist, has spent his career studying how our thoughts and emotions directly influence our biology. His research suggests that we can, quite literally, rewire our brains to align them with our desires. In a way, it's as if we are the architects of our own reality. But here's where many misunderstand. This isn't an excuse to sit back and wait for the universe to deliver everything on a silver platter. Much like Stoic philosophy teaches us, there's a balance between thought and action. The law of attraction isn't a magic wand. It's more like a GPS. It shows you the path, but you still need to get behind the wheel and drive. The Stoics believed deeply in the power of focused action. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your thoughts may guide you, but it's through deliberate action that you'll reach your destination. Think of it like cooking. You can have the finest ingredients available, but if you don't mix them and put them on the stove, you'll never create a meal. Similarly, your thoughts and emotions must be paired with concrete actions to bring about real change. Now let's explore the concept of emotional detachment, a technique that's central to both Stoic philosophy and modern psychological practice. Emotional detachment is often misunderstood. It's not about becoming cold or indifferent. Rather, it's akin to opening the windows of your mind to let fresh air in. When you let go, you create space for new things to enter. As the ancient saying goes, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Epictetus would remind us of the importance of understanding what is within our control and what is not. He said, "Some things are up to us and some things are not." When we cling too tightly to our desires, we create resistance. This resistance, as Carl Jung famously said, often causes the very thing we resist to persist. Only when we learn to let go do we create the space necessary for transformation. Let me illustrate this with a simple analogy. Imagine holding a balloon filled with helium. If you grip it too tightly, it will stay with you, but it will never rise. On the other hand, if you open your hand and release it, the balloon will float freely. The same holds true with our attachments. When we let go, we release blocked energy and allow our desires to manifest naturally. The Stoics were masters of emotional detachment. They believed that by accepting things as they are, and not as we wish them to be, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. As Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This principle teaches us that detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means freedom from the chains of uncontrolled desire. Now let's practice a simple visualization exercise to embrace emotional detachment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine yourself standing on a serene beach. In your hands you hold a beautiful butterfly. Its colors are vibrant, its wings delicate. For a moment, simply admire it. Now open your hands and watch the butterfly soar into the sky, free and light. Do you feel that sense of release? That's the power of emotional detachment. This exercise may seem simple, but its effects are profound. By releasing the weight of attachment, we open ourselves to new possibilities and allow our goals to align naturally with the flow of life. In fact, many great figures, both ancient and modern, have used this very technique to manifest their deepest desires. By letting go of rigid control and trusting the process, we allow life to unfold in ways we might never have expected. Let's consider the example of Jim Carrey, the renowned actor and comedian. Before he achieved fame, Carrey was struggling to make ends meet. One night, he drove up to the Hollywood Hills and wrote himself a check for $10 million for services rendered as an actor. He dated it for Thanksgiving Day, 1995, and visualized it every day. But here's the key. He didn't cling desperately to that check or the idea of fame. He let it go, trusted the process, and continued to work hard. And guess what? Right before Thanksgiving Day in 1995, Carrey landed a role in Dumb and Dumber, earning exactly $10 million. This is a perfect example of the power of emotional detachment in action. But it doesn't only apply to fame or career success. Emotional detachment also plays a crucial role in relationships. Have you ever noticed how we often become more attracted to those who aren't obsessively chasing us? It's the principle of detachment at work. When we don't cling to others, we project an energy of confidence and self-worth that draws people to us naturally. As Epictetus wisely observed, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When we become emotionally detached, we stop desperately trying to control outcomes or people. This detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means confidence. It signals that you are enough on your own, regardless of external circumstances. Think of it like a magnet. When you hold on to someone or something too tightly, it's as if you're pushing them away. But when you release your grip, focusing instead on your own growth and happiness, you become irresistibly attractive. It's like those individuals who seem fully absorbed in living their best life. Don't you find yourself wanting to be part of what they're doing? Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds great in theory, but how can you apply it in real life? One practical tip is to adopt a simple mantra when you feel anxious about a situation: this or something better. This phrase is a reminder that the universe, or in Stoic terms, the natural order of life, may have greater plans for you than what you are currently fixated on. Marcus Aurelius beautifully encapsulated this philosophy when he said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." The Stoics understood that emotional detachment doesn't mean rejecting life's experiences, but rather approaching them with openness and acceptance. Imagine your mind is like a garden. Every thought you cultivate is a seed, and gratitude is the fertilizer that makes the entire garden bloom. Practicing gratitude not only shifts your perspective, it also raises your point of attraction, the vibrational state we discussed earlier. When you express gratitude, you emit an energy of abundance and satisfaction, and in return, life sends more of the same your way. Epictetus famously said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Gratitude, much like emotional detachment, allows us to focus on what we already have instead of what we lack. It frees us from the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. Psychologist Robert Emmons, a pioneer in the field of gratitude research, discovered that individuals who regularly practice gratitude experience a host of benefits: better sleep, stronger immune systems, and even improved relationships. Not only does gratitude make us feel good emotionally, but it literally changes our brain. A study from Indiana University found that practicing gratitude increases activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain associated with learning and decision-making. It's as though gratitude gives us the mental clarity to recognize and manifest our deepest desires. Now, let me challenge you to start a simple practice. For the next week, find at least 3 things to be grateful for each day. Here's the twist. You have to find different things every day. Day 1, you might be thankful for your morning coffee. Day 2, maybe you're grateful for that green traffic light. The idea is to discover the extraordinary in the ordinary, to uncover treasures hidden in your daily routine. But don't just list these things. Like savoring your favorite dessert, take the time to truly feel the gratitude. Let it flood your senses and bring you into the present moment. Gratitude isn't merely an intellectual exercise, it's an emotional experience. Even in life's most challenging moments, gratitude can transform how we see the world. Stuck in traffic? Instead of feeling frustrated, be thankful for the extra time to listen to your favorite podcast. Had an appointment canceled? Maybe that's the universe gifting you time for much-needed rest. As Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Gratitude is the antidote to this poverty of spirit, turning what we have into more than enough. Creative visualization may sound like magic, but it's far from it. It's a practical tool that has been used by everyone from Olympic athletes to successful entrepreneurs. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a movie projector. Every thought and image you create is projected onto the screen of your reality. Sound incredible? Well, as Albert Einstein once said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Einstein's insight resonates with a key Stoic principle. The mind has the power to shape our experiences. Marcus Aurelius reflected this sentiment when he wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Creative visualization is the art of allowing your imagination to run wild, but with purpose. How does it work? It's simpler than you think. When you vividly imagine something, your brain cannot fully distinguish between your mental image and reality. It's like when you dream that you're falling and suddenly wake up with a jolt. Your body reacts as though it were actually happening. This is the power of the mind at work. But before you think that simply visualizing wealth will lead to finding a briefcase of money on your doorstep tomorrow, let's be clear. Visualization is not a magic wand. It's more like a GPS for your mind. It keeps you on course toward your goals, aligning your thoughts and actions with what you wish to achieve. Epictetus reminds us of the importance of aligning our inner life with our outer actions when he said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." So how can you start using creative visualization in your life? Here are some steps. 1. Find a quiet place. You don't need to retreat to a mountaintop. Just find a quiet corner of your home where you won't be disturbed. 2. Relax and breathe deeply. With each exhalation, imagine you're releasing tension from your body. 3. Visualize your goal in detail. Whether it's a new job or a personal achievement, see yourself fully immersed in that reality. Imagine every detail as vividly as possible. 4. Engage all your senses. Don't just see the image in your mind. Hear the sounds, smell the scents, and feel the textures. The more real you make it, the more powerful the experience. 5. Feel the emotion. Here's the secret ingredient. Don't just visualize what you want. Feel the joy, excitement, and satisfaction of already having achieved it. 6. Practice regularly. Like any skill, the more you practice, the better you'll become. Take a moment to pause and try it right now. Visualize something you deeply desire. Did you do it? How do you feel? I bet you're feeling a little more motivated. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian in history, used visualization before every race. He would mentally rehearse every stroke, every turn, and even the feeling of winning. His results, as we know, are proof of the power of this practice. But be cautious. Not all visualization is beneficial. This practice is not about toxic positivity or pretending that everything is perfect. Instead, it's about creating a clear vision of what you want to achieve and using that vision as motivation and guidance. One of the greatest gifts of visualization is its ability to improve not just your performance, but also your mood. It's like giving your mind a mini vacation from stress and anxiety. Seneca taught us that a man's mind is often wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen posted on a high tower. Our thoughts, when disciplined and directed, are our greatest allies. Now, some skeptics may dismiss visualization as nonsense, but science tells a different story. Studies have shown that creative visualization can enhance performance in a variety of fields, from sports to learning. It's as though you're training your brain for success, allowing it to become familiar with the outcomes you desire. Let's continue this journey of self-improvement together, building on everything we've learned so far. The power of letting go, the science of the law of attraction, emotional detachment, gratitude, and creative visualization. Now it's time to take it a step further by discussing how to align our actions with our intentions. Because, my friends, while positive thinking is important, without action, it's like a luxury car without gasoline. Sure, it's beautiful, but it won't get you anywhere. Imagine you're trying to attract love into your life. You can visualize it all day long, but if you're sitting at home, binge watching Netflix in your pajamas, do you think love will magically knock on your door? Probably not. The key here is to act as if you already have what you desire. It's like the famous saying, fake it till you make it, but with a touch of universal magic. William James, often considered the father of American psychology, once said, "Act as if what you do makes a difference." It does. And he was right. But how does this translate into practical, everyday life? Let's look at some examples. If you want a promotion at work, start behaving like someone who already holds that position. Take initiative, volunteer for important projects, and dress with the confidence of someone who's already in that role. No, you don't need to secretly wear your boss's suit. That would be a bit odd, but embody the qualities that the future version of you would have. If your goal is to improve your health, start acting like someone who is already fit and healthy. Sign up for the gym, fill your fridge with nutritious foods, and get rid of the junk. And no, fries don't count as a vegetable, no matter how much they come from the ground. Even Michael Phelps used this technique. He didn't just visualize his success, he acted as if he were already the Olympic champion he became. In his mental training, Phelps rehearsed every race, from putting on his goggles to touching the wall at the finish line. And with 28 Olympic medals, it's safe to say his approach worked quite well. But here's the important part. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, the version that already exists within you, waiting to emerge. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Your future self is like a treasure map, and your actions are the steps guiding you toward that treasure. Here's the fun part. The more you act as if you already have what you want, the more you begin to believe that it's possible. And the more you believe it's possible, the more you're likely to take actions to make it a reality. It's a virtuous circle, like a dog chasing its tail, except in this case, you actually catch it. So I challenge you to choose something you really want in your life. It doesn't matter whether it's big or small. Now, think about how someone who already has that thing would behave. What would they do differently? How would they act? How would they dress? And from this moment forward, act as if you are already that person. In Stoic philosophy, the alignment of action with thought is key. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." It's not just about wishing for what you want, it's about preparing yourself to meet it when it arrives. We've just discussed the importance of aligning our actions with our intentions. But get ready, because now we're about to take an interesting turn. What if I told you that the obstacles you face are actually signs that you're on the right path? I know what you're thinking. How can problems be a good thing? But let's reframe it for a moment. According to Stoic philosophy, obstacles are not only inevitable, but they are essential to our growth. When you start getting closer to your goals, the universe, or perhaps life itself, often puts you to the test. It's as if it wants to make sure you truly want what you're pursuing. The famous entrepreneur Richard Branson once said, "Obstacles are just opportunities in disguise." And he's absolutely right. Every time you encounter a difficulty, you have a choice. You can either see it as an immovable wall or as a stepping stone towards something greater. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, expressed this perfectly in his Meditations. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the very challenges we face are not just distractions or interruptions, they are the path forward. So how can we shift our perspective on obstacles? Here are some Stoic-inspired techniques. 1. The what-if technique. When you encounter a problem, ask yourself, what if this is exactly what I need to grow? This simple question can transform your mindset and open up new possibilities. 2. The learning journal. At the end of each day, write down 5 things you've learned from the challenges you faced. Over time, you'll notice how much personal growth you can extract from what seemed like setbacks. 3. Reverse visualization. Imagine that you've already overcome the obstacle. How does it feel? What lessons did you learn? Then work backward to map out the steps necessary to achieve that outcome. Let me share something personal. Like most people, I sometimes catch myself complaining about external things, difficult situations, people, or challenges. But over time, I've learned to minimize this habit. Of course, it doesn't happen overnight, but I've made progress. Why do I try to avoid complaining? Because negativity has a way of attracting more negativity. The Stoics warned us against allowing external events to control our peace of mind. As Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. We all know that person who constantly complains about everything, work, society, the smallest inconveniences. They seem to attract even more problems because their negative energy becomes a magnet for challenges. My advice? Limit your exposure to such negativity, and if possible, share the wisdom of the Stoics with them. Now, let's get serious. The resistance you feel when pursuing a dream is similar to the friction a rocket experiences during takeoff. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also necessary to reach new heights. This concept can be seen in the life of Frida Kahlo, the famous Mexican painter. Frida suffered a catastrophic accident at the age of 18, leaving her bedridden for months. What seemed like a devastating tragedy became the catalyst for her remarkable artistic career. In her pain, she found her voice. Frida once said, "Feet, what do I need you for if I have wings to fly?" This profound statement reflects the Stoic idea of using obstacles as opportunities. Frida didn't let her physical limitations define her. Instead, she used them as fuel for her creativity, producing some of the most powerful art of the 20th century. So, the next time you face an obstacle, remember these 2 key points. 1, it's not a wall. It's a stepping stone. Obstacles are not meant to stop you. They are meant to elevate you. 2, the universe isn't against you. It's challenging you to grow. Every challenge is an opportunity in disguise, waiting for you to seize it. In Stoicism, we learn that obstacles don't block the path. They are the path. Embrace them, and you will find yourself moving closer to your goals with a sense of purpose and resilience. Have you ever felt like you're carrying an invisible weight, one that prevents you from moving forward? That weight could be resentment, and the key to setting yourself free is forgiveness. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Forgiveness, both of others and of yourself, is a path to mastering your inner freedom. Imagine your energy is like a river. Resentment and grudges are like heavy rocks blocking its natural flow. Forgiveness is the act of removing those rocks, allowing your energy to move freely toward your goals. And here's something many overlook. Forgiveness isn't just for others, it's also for yourself. Often we are our own harshest critics. That constant negative self-talk, those unrelenting self-judgments, act like anchors keeping us tethered to past mistakes. Self-forgiveness is the act of cutting those anchors, allowing yourself to sail toward the future you desire. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea perfectly when he said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Holding on to grudges, whether against yourself or others, only keeps you stuck in the past. Let's try a practical exercise. Close your eyes for a moment. Think of someone you need to forgive, even if that someone is yourself. Visualize that person standing in front of you. Take a deep breath and silently say, "I forgive you. I release this weight." Repeat it 3 times. Do you feel that sense of lightness? That's the energy of forgiveness flowing through you. Forgiveness doesn't mean you approve of what happened. It means you choose peace over pain. As the saying goes, forgiving is setting a prisoner free and discovering that the prisoner was you. This mirrors the Stoic belief in inner peace. Seneca emphasized this when he wrote, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." By forgiving, you release yourself from the prison of anger and resentment, freeing up emotional energy for growth. And it's not just philosophy that supports this. Scientific studies have shown the power of forgiveness in improving our well-being. Researchers at Stanford University found that those who practice forgiveness experience reduced stress, improved mental health, and more fulfilling relationships. Isn't that exactly the emotional space you need to manifest your desires? Forgiveness also accelerates the process of manifestation. When you forgive, you free the energy that was trapped in resentment and redirect it toward your goals. It's like taking the handbrake off your dream car. You suddenly move faster with less effort. The Stoics taught us that our energy is best spent on what we can control, ourselves and our actions, not on clinging to the past. But remember, forgiveness is a process, not an event. Don't pressure yourself if it doesn't happen overnight. Each small act of forgiveness is a step toward emotional freedom and the realization of your desires. Just as we discussed earlier about obstacles being signs that we're close to our goals, forgiveness is a way to overcome those internal barriers that keep us stuck. In the end, by forgiving others and yourself, you clear the path for new opportunities, greater inner peace, and a life that aligns with your highest potential. Now, let's take things a step further. Maintaining faith and patience when everything seems to be against you is the ultimate challenge of manifestation and the law of attraction. Imagine you're planting a garden. You've prepared the soil, planted the seeds, and watered them. But days go by and you don't see a single sprout. What do? Do you give up? Or do you trust the process and continue nurturing your garden? In this analogy, faith and patience are like water and sunlight for the seeds of your desires. Without them, nothing will grow. But how do we maintain faith when everything feels stagnant? First, Remember that the universe works on its own timeline. Lao Tzu, the ancient philosopher, said it beautifully. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Your job is to keep your vibration high and trust that the process is unfolding, even when you can't yet see the results. This idea mirrors Marcus Aurelius's Stoic reminder. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. A helpful technique to keep your faith alive is to start an evidence journal. Every day, write down 3 small things that show you are getting closer to your goal. It could be a coincidence, an unexpected opportunity, or simply having a good day. This practice trains your mind to seek the positive and reinforces your belief that progress is happening, even in subtle ways. Another invaluable tool is daily visualization. Spend 5 minutes each morning vividly imagining how you will feel once you've achieved your goal. Don't just see it, feel it. What emotions arise? What sounds or smells are present? The more real you make it in your mind, the stronger your conviction will be. Seneca understood the power of perspective when he said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." By engaging your senses in visualization, you transform your future desires into a current emotional experience, boosting your faith. But let's be honest, there will be days when everything seems to go wrong. In those moments, practice shifting your perspective. Ask yourself, how could this setback be working in my favor? Sometimes what seems like a failure is simply a necessary adjustment or course correction. Persistence is key. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The Stoics believed deeply in enduring hardship with patience, understanding that setbacks are part of life's natural ebb and flow. The challenge is to respond with resilience and continued effort. Let me remind you of the words of Thomas Edison. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. This lesson holds great wisdom for anyone striving toward their goals. Often, the moment when we feel most like giving up is just before the breakthrough. So don't give up just before the miracle happens. Trust the process, stay patient, keep watering your garden with faith, and you will eventually see it bloom. Now, let me share something personal with you. Just yesterday, I told a friend about a project I was planning to start. But guess what happened when I got home? I didn't do it. That's the trap. Talking too much about our plans can actually drain the energy needed to carry them out. It's as if, by saying it out loud, our brain feels the satisfaction of having achieved it, and we lose the drive to act. This is why it's often better to keep your goals secret. Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In other words, don't talk about your plans, show them through your actions. How many times have you heard someone say, "I'll do it when I get home," only for them to not follow through? The mere act of saying it gives us a dopamine rush, and we lose the impulse to take real action. That's why action is what counts. Thinking is great, it's the first step, but thoughts alone won't get the job done, unless, of course, you're a wizard. And if you are, call me. I've yet to meet one. Here's something for you to reflect on. Will your future self be proud of the decisions you're making today? And what would your past self think of your current actions? Every step you take now is shaping your tomorrow. Maintaining faith and patience is not easy, but it's the secret ingredient to manifestation. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So the next time you feel like your motivation is slipping, remember that you're in the process of creating your best life. Trust the process, keep the fire burning, and get ready to savor the results. Rome wasn't built in a day, and anything worth having takes time. That's what makes the journey so beautiful. In this video, we've explored the power of letting go, gratitude, visualization, and aligning action with intention. Now, it's time to take all these tools and integrate them into your daily life. The law of attraction isn't magic, it's a shift in mindset. Seneca wisely said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Every thought, every word, and every action is a seed you plant in the garden of your reality. Cultivate positive thoughts, speak with intention, and act with confidence. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be." You have the power to create your reality. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Start today, right now. I encourage you to revisit this video as many times as you need. Take notes, practice the exercises, and most importantly, share this wisdom. Send this video to your loved ones, your friends, or anyone who might benefit from it. Because when we uplift others, we also uplift ourselves. As we come to the end of this video, let's take a moment to reflect on the path we've traveled together. We've explored powerful techniques like letting go, emotional detachment, gratitude, creative visualization, aligning your actions with your intentions, and the importance of faith and patience. Each of these tools is a stepping stone on the journey toward becoming your best self. Remember, the Stoic philosophers taught us that life is not about controlling the external world, but about mastering ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And it's true. Each thought you nurture, each word you speak, and each action you take creates the reality you live in. But knowing isn't enough. As we've discussed, action is what truly counts. Don't just think about your goals, start moving toward them today. Whether it's through forgiveness, persistence, or simply maintaining patience when times get tough, you have the power to shape your future. So as we wrap up, I want you to ask yourself, what small step can I take today that will bring me closer to my goals? I invite you to integrate these Stoic principles and practical techniques into your daily life. Practice them, live them, and watch as they transform not only your mindset, but also your reality. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Stoic Rise Up for more content on how to live a fulfilling, purpose-driven life. Share this video with anyone you think could benefit from these teachings, because as we uplift others, we also uplift ourselves. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to walking this path of wisdom and self-discovery with you. Until next time, keep cultivating your mind, your actions, and your life.